All recording. Yeah, guys, for all you, for everyone this is a recorded call. I just wanted to jump in and say thanks for jumping on the call. It's going to be an awesome call. So we've got was an incredible friend of mine from up in Queensland. How you doing, Karina? I met these guys so long ago now. It feels like so long ago. About 2 years ago, we were lucky enough to win an ISA Derby to Cambodia. So we got to spend a bit of time around the pool and catch up. And then it's gone on from there. I've met them a few of the other trips. I think Top Achievers and maybe ISA Derby. Do you guys make it to? You guys are in Hawaii as well?
No, we didn't go to Hawaii.
No.
I think I was in the midst of pregnancy, so we didn't actually go in that ISA Derby.
Yeah, but we've had some really, really good times. But I'm really inspired by Matt and Karina, and they've been such good friends. A little bit about Matt and Karina. So these guys used to have a CrossFit box up in the Gold Coast, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, up the Gold Coast. And Karina was in real estate. They've been in Isogenics for about 2.5 years, just going on 2.5 years. And it come to a point where they were in a bit of financial stress at the time and almost bankruptcy. So they really took a really good look at this business and kind of just jumped in, hit the ground running. They hit Crystal Executive in 6 months, 6 weeks. 6 weeks they hit Crystal Executive. So they jumped right in. And as I said, 2.5 years in the business, and they're really, really close to hitting $1 million in income, which is incredible. And as I said, these guys are just so humble and generous and kind. And I'm just really, really honoured to have them on the call and for them guys to give up a little bit of their time, especially having a newborn baby. And I know Matt's been juggling time, and I'm sure you have too as well, Karina.
Yeah, it certainly changes things. Any parents on the call?
No.
Start group. Oh, one. Good on you, Marty. We connect.
Yeah, guys, I might just jump in a little bit and maybe just you guys just want to share your story. Just a little bit of obviously of how you come into Isogenics and obviously, yeah, what's brought you to this point so far, and then maybe we'll just jump into a few questions tonight and try and pull apart and see if we can get some nuggets for the guys.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, so 2.5 years ago is when we got started, and like Adrian said, financially we were pretty screwed at the time. So we came in looking at the products health-wise, and being a PT or in the fitness industry, you know, I wanted to make sure that the products worked, and within a couple of weeks we realised they did, and some of the people around us were getting great results. So we kind of realised then that there was something to it, and if we started sharing it, we could make a difference in our life. And initially it was $300 is what we were hoping to earn from Isogenics, $300 a week, because that's how much we were kind of negative each week. So we didn't have massive lofty goals, I guess, when we came in. We just wanted to, make a couple $100, and if that happened, we would have been happy. But, you know, that ended up happening really quickly, and then we really dove right in, and we kind of made a commitment that we were going to put everything into it because we wanted to change our situation. And, you know, we realised that if we didn't do anything, you know, if we half-assed it, then we probably weren't going to get the results that we could or that we wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, like Matt and I were both very busy at the time. I mean, like you said, Adrian, I was working in real estate, you know, but I wasn't an agent. I was an executive assistant, and I always worked for very powerful, very successful men, and they loved to keep me in my place. And, you know, I was working full-time hours, and I remember asking for a pay rise, and my boss said that this was the breaking point, because everyone on this call, I'm sure you've had a breaking point. And, you know, there was a day when you woke up and thought, I need to do something else in order to change my life. And my breaking point came when I asked my boss for a pay rise, and he said yes, but in very, I guess, so many words, he expected me to work more hours. And I was already working full-time hours plus extra, because I didn't want to be seen as the clock watcher that left at 5:30. So I'd stay, you know, till 6 or 6:30 every night to be seen as that person who was really working hard for no extra money. And he expected me to work harder. And I thought to myself, well, this is just ridiculous. You know, what does he expect? Blood out of a stone? Yes. And Matt and I, we were in financial trouble at the time, and we were trying to live off my income. and it just wasn't working. And we also had hopes and dreams like everyone does on this call, and we knew that we were planning our wedding at the time. We had a lot of debt. We knew we were going to have a family one day. And for us, it just came down to, do we want our life to be like this forever? And it was a very simple question, very easy answer. The answer was no. And, you know, the reality was, if we didn't choose to have a life of struggle, then we had to change something. And like Matt said, we saw something in the network marketing industry, even though we really didn't know what it was. We were told what to do by our mentors, Brett and Sammy Davis, amazing mentors in Isogenics. They told us what to do. They gave us the tracks to run on. And we literally just, if they said jump, we said how high. And we did get to executive in 6 weeks because, you know, we did everything that we had to do to get there. It wasn't, it was just a case of do or die for us.
Yeah, and not only that, but you've got to have a certain attitude around about getting stuff done, and everyone's busy, everyone's got lives, jobs, families, stuff like that. But at some point, and when I was over in America recently and hearing Eric Warre talk, and he said at some point you have to commit and you have to go all in, and that's you know, we did that from the start, and that's why we were able to get some great momentum in our business. But for the majority of people, they never really make that commitment with themselves. And I guess that's, if there's one thing that we could impart on you, is the importance of getting to that point where you go, all right, well, I know this is possible. There's people around me everywhere that are really successful. So, you know, what's stopping me? And at the end of the day, it's you, you know. So, you know, it's all down to you. Anything is possible for anyone that puts the time and effort in, and we were ones that did it right from the word go. But it just comes a time where you have to commit and make that decision in yourself that you're going to put everything into it.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like that's it. You just kind of hit the ground running straight away. So you didn't even wait for the results yourself personally. You just started sharing straight away.
Well, no, we did. I mean, we started experiencing results fairly quickly, and I'm sure most people are the same. You know, for me personally, I didn't need to lose any weight. I'm already a fairly slender person, but for me, it was all about the energy. And within 2 weeks, it was around 2 to 3 weeks for me, I started to feel so much energy. And thinking with a beginner's mindset here, because we are, you know, 2.5 years into our journey, when we started to feel awesome, we knew that we had to share it. We knew that we had a window. And this is all about opening your mouth and talking to people. So if we were feeling fantastic, we knew we had to share that as soon as possible if we were going to start a business with Isogenics. So I guess, yes, within the first 30 days, we definitely started sharing. Yeah.
Awesome, because that's a massive achievement to go from where you were in so much financial stress to obviously just 2.5 years later and on your way to, as you said, $1 million income. That's huge. So you've obviously just hit the ground running, and it's just massive action. So like something I would love to ask for the team is, what did your first 6 months look like for you guys?
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, just continuing on from that, we really devoted any spare time that we had to Isogenics. So for us, that meant distractions like TV and things like that. We didn't turn the TV on for pretty much 6 months.
And that sounds quite hectic to a lot of people, because TV is your time to switch off, I'm sure. But for us, it was time. Well, it was valuable time that we could be building our business. And like I said, it was do or die, really. So we saw those mindless hours at night watching TV as unnecessary. So we turned the TV off. And we didn't turn it back on, because it's like 21 days to break a habit. When you stop doing something, a couple of weeks later, you don't even remember why you liked it in the first place.
Yeah, and, you know, if you think TV, for example, a lot of people will they'll say they don't have time to build the business, but will spend, let's say, a minimum of 2 hours watching TV at night, you know. So you put that over 7 days, there's 14 plus hours that could be spent on building your future, you know. And at the end of the day, that's what we decided was what's more important right now, and it was throwing everything into building our business. And we got the results because we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We just knew that we had to talk to lots of people, and we had to have lots of conversations. We were a product of the product. and we just got to work on being professional and understanding what it takes to be successful in this.
And you know what, Adrian, like it just, because we're so conscious of the fact that we're talking to a lot of people who are fairly new. Like, hands up if you're fairly new to this industry. Let's say you've been in it for less than, I don't know, 6 months.
We got some people on the call that are just signed up like yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. So you're probably thinking it's so easy. It's so easy for us now. We earn a great income. But, 2.5 years ago, we were exactly where you guys are. And if you are wanting to build an income using Isagenix as your vehicle, then you really have to, you first have to make the decision, and you just with a 90-day game plan, and I'm sure Adrian's spoken to you about that anyway, but you need to sort out how many hours per week you can commit to learning and to building this business, and you need to eliminate distractions. Like Matt said, turn the TV off. What does it even contribute into your life anyway? Remembering that most people on the call probably travel to work. You can use those precious hours, half an hour each way. That's an hour a day, 7 hours a week. But, the first 6 months, my point was, and I keep getting sidetracked, I'm sorry, but our first 6 months was scary. It was very scary because we were learning a completely new industry. We were scared of what people thought of us, but we didn't have time. We didn't have the opportunity. We couldn't. We needed the money.
And we, it's all about comfort zone, especially in those early days. And in life, everyone's pretty much stuck in that, don't want to push themselves too far because of all of those things. What are people going to think? What if I fail? What if I look stupid?
I don't want to sell to my friends.
All of those things that go inside your head. But at the end of the day, we realised, and I guess we had great mentors which really helped us to push through those barriers. But we realised that we were going to have to do something differently and become a different person almost. Someone that was driven and committed and was going to stop at nothing if we wanted to get that goal.
And we got a lot of no's. We spoke to a lot of people, and we've never been massive enrollers, but we're really good at supporting people and showing them the full vision, I suppose. But we got a lot of no's, and the difference between someone successful and someone who doesn't succeed, I'll never say the word fail, is that they let those setbacks stop them in their tracks, and it disables them from moving forward. Whereas if you have a why, you'll hear this a lot in Isagenix, your why. Our why was we were drowning in debt. If your why is big enough, then there's no matter how many no's you get, or when someone says to you, oh, I can't believe you're doing network marketing for the pyramid scheme, you'll just flip that off and just go, whatever, I'm on a mission. I don't care what you think.
Yeah. And I guess one of those, because we were new, especially in those early days, we were failing forward. We were certainly not doing things perfectly or anything like that. But all we were doing is we were passionate about the products because we'd experienced it ourselves, and we felt compelled to tell people about it. So we, and we didn't sort of presume whether someone was interested or not. We were just telling them the information and leaving that up to them to decide whether or not they were interested or not. And one of the key things I think that we did was we got to events, within our first couple of months, celebration was on. So Brett said, get us to celebration. We said, what is it? He said, I don't really know, but I think you should be there. So it was so early on, we didn't know anything. And
we weren't earning much money from Isagenix, if anything at all. We might have been earning some PIBs, but we certainly weren't earning any residual income. I think, it would be safe to say that we probably went into more debt in the first 6 months than what we earned. But we had the belief that it would pay off in the long run, so we did what we were told. We got to events, we stayed on auto ship, ordered 100 BV per month, and 6 months later, momentum kicked in, and that's when we started things started to change.
Yeah. You feel it was like obviously 6 months later because of all the conversations you were having at the start, and you felt like you were failing, those people weren't interested. All the conversations that you had, and 6 months later, those people come back to you. Do you think like that you filled the funnel kind of thing, and you just consistently built that?
Yeah.
Well, Adrian, can you mute everyone's line? Do you know how? Can you do that?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that.
A few more people have joined.
Yeah, cool. I'll just mute all. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can unmute yourselves. There you go. All good.
Done.
Awesome.
So touching on that, so I guess so we've got we've got a lot of new guys on the call who are just getting started, and then some guys that haven't even started actually. So what are some key points I reckon that you guys could share with some main things that people should focus on if they want to build a successful business?
So are there people in here that just love the product, and they're just solely, I would say continue to be a product with the product and just share that enthusiasm everywhere you go. Whether you are just interested in the products and you don't intend to earn an income, that's totally fine as well. But if you are interested in earning an income, this is all about the products. It all starts with the products. And without these amazing products, we wouldn't have the income that we have. There would be no business. So be a product of the product. Remember that everyone is always watching. So I guess you have to be the person that you would love to attract in your life or into your business. So that means being positive, being healthy. We're in the health and wellness industry, so eliminating negativity. Start showing up like a healthy and successful person, and watch yourself. You'll attract so many people.
Yeah, and I think in that one, like Facebook is such a big thing. I mean, so much of our business was built through Facebook, and how you're showing up on Facebook is such a big thing, and especially early on. So, if your profile picture, for example, is you doing shots on a Saturday night or something like that, or, you go through, you have a bit of a bird's eye view of your Facebook profile, and, if you're on the outside looking in, what would people think, or what would they think you're about? And that's just one of those key things where, you have to project a certain image, I guess, if you like, and you've got to brand yourself as someone that's positive and that's healthy and really inspirational and all those sorts of things. So how people perceive you through Facebook is a really big thing,
Or just social media in general. Yeah. We only really use Facebook, but I know a lot of people use Instagram and a heap of things like that. What else? Just going back to the products, you've got to think of yourself as a walking billboard. And that's what we were told when we first started. Brett said to us, you're like a walking billboard. And you really are. Because if you are a product of the product and you're excited and you feel that energy and you're achieving your goals, then you really can't shut up about it. Because when you're onto a good thing, it's natural for us to want to tell other people about it.
Launch parties.
Yeah, launch parties. I mean, this is us talking to a business builder. Yeah, right? Yeah. So if you're just a product lover, then disregard what we're saying.
Yeah, but, so launch parties were a really key thing, I think, for us as far as managing our time, because we were trying to fit so much in. So if we could talk to 10 people in a room at once versus having 10 individual conversations, then we knew that there was, there's a reason to do that. And we really had a big push on launch parties as we went through, and some of our key people that are still in our business 2.5 years later, we met through launch parties that we hadn't met them beforehand. So, launch parties, the first one is often the scariest, but once you get that first one over and done with, then
they get easier and easier.
You realize that it's actually not that scary, and it's such a great way to get people together and have a bit of energy and excitement and share your passion about these products, because at the end of the day, that's all you're doing. And if somebody wants to join and then decides to share the products, then that's awesome. But you've got to be having those conversations, and you've got to be getting in front of people for that to happen in the first place.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess so. You've built your business on getting out there straight away, just jumping straight in, getting out, failing forward, having those conversations, talking to pretty much everyone, and then doing your launch parties and just a massive action, just jumping straight in. What do you see that what's some of the things that you see people doing wrong, or that's stopping them from building a incredible business with an incredible income? So what are some of the things you see people doing wrong or not doing right, or things that are slowing them down from moving forward? Because we want to get to where we want to get there quick. And I know with your mentors, Brett and Sammy, they're incredible, and they've got there incredibly quick, and you guys have duplicated that, and you're on your way to going incredibly fast as well. What do you feel, that that other people you may see that is slowing them down? Obviously distractions, as you said, but
so many. Look, there's so many things that stop people. I mean, I've got a list on it. I'm writing a blog on it at the moment, and there's literally so many. But there's you know what? The first one would be too many people are paralyzed by what others think. I'd say that's the biggest one, because if you're scared about what people think, then you won't do anything at all. So you can say, oh, I'd love to be earning $500 a week through Isogenics, but if that doesn't equate to you going out and actually talking to people about it, then you're not going to earn the money. And then you're going to turn around in 6 months' time and say, well, network marketing doesn't work. Network marketing does work, and it's an incredible business model, and residual income is something that most people can only dream of. But you do have to put the work in, and you really have to have conversation. You have to get up off your ass and speak to people. You have to open your mouth and speak to people. It is the most simple business. This is the simplest thing you will ever do. It's definitely not easy, because there will be people that talk behind your back and they don't understand what you're doing, and they say there's going to be haters, is what I'm trying to say. But if you want this bad enough and you sit there and you make the decision that it doesn't matter what someone says about me, or it doesn't matter how many no's I get, or what my friends and my family think, then you'll go for it. And, like I said before, we didn't have time to worry about what people thought, but there were certainly times when we had haters, and it hurts. Yeah. It really hurts.
And sometimes it's the people close to you, it's close friends, it's family, and you've got to find a way to deal with that and move on and say, that's fine. Look, if you don't understand, that's okay, but this is what I'm doing, and I'm passionate and I'm committed to do it, and then let it go. If you hold on to that stuff, then you'll always let it stop you.
Or let them go. I mean, look, at the end of the day, whatever. I mean, don't dwell on it. Put things into perspective. Do you either want to stay exactly the same as you are now? Do you want your life to be the way it is now forever? Or do you choose to change it and live an amazing life? Because if you really choose to change your life, then it doesn't matter what people think. It's all about perspective. If you sit there and you actually put it into perspective, it doesn't really matter. Like, life is so short.
Yeah.
And you'll actually find that you'll probably make a whole stack of friends in Isogenics anyway. And they tend to be a lot more positive and uplifting
supportive
than some of the people that might be in your life at the moment. And, we've said goodbye essentially to friends because they were pulling us down or wanted us to stay the same. And, at the end of the day, like we've said, if you want to change something, if you want to change your situation, then you've got to start doing something differently. And for us, it was really throwing ourselves fully into this. And, I guess one of the points I'd be is what holds people back as well is being a toe dipper. If you're a toe dipper, then all you're going to get paid is what a toe dipper would get paid. And the reality is,
it's either a hobby or a business, and it's okay if it's going to be a hobby.
Yeah, it all depends on what you want out of it. If you want to earn $200 or $300 a week or $500 a month, and that's all you're kind of coming into this for, then that's fine. You can toe dip and you can get the odd PIBs and you can do that. But if you want to make it a solid, stable, growing income, then you really have to commit to it. So,
and that takes consistency. That's another thing that stops people from succeeding, is they put in an hour of work one day and then they do nothing for 3 days, and they think that that's going to grow them an awesome business. And it really doesn't, because it's like a snowball effect. If you work today and tomorrow and the next day, chances are you work for the whole week. But if you do, I'm going to do an hour of Isogenics work today and speak to a few people, but I'm done for the week. I'm not going to do anything because, tick, I've done it. It's not going to work for you, unfortunately, because, action breeds action. So you have to be consistent. If that looks like half an hour a day, then you have to put in that half an hour every single day. But it's what you do in that half hour that is going to make the biggest difference. It has to be income producing activity. It has to be talking to people. It has to be information sessions, going and meeting your friend for coffee, or doing picking up the phone and speaking to someone and saying, hey, I've just started this amazing program. I've lost 5 kilos. I thought of you because, we were speaking the other day and you said that you wanted to lose a few kilos before summer. What do you think? Do you want some more info? You have to actually be willing. You've got to be willing to open your mouth and talk to people. That's income producing activity. Scrolling through Facebook, and just liking someone's photo or commenting or posting a really lovely quote, even though it makes you feel good, it's not going to put money in your bank account.
Yeah. So the way that was really, really awesome, just how you quickly shared, just that simplicity of it is just calling someone and saying, hey, I've been doing this program, and it's, and just share your results and say, hey, did you want to, give it a shot with me? We can hold each other accountable. It's just reaching out, isn't it? It's just consistently reaching out and taking that action. And it's scary at the start, but it gets easier when you have that posture and you believe in something. It just gets easier and easier and easier. And making that one extra call every night after you've done 5 and just doing one more is so much easier than doing the one the next day.
You have to do the scariest things first. So rather than leave, and if you don't feel comfortable picking up the phone, which most people don't, you do Facebook messages. We love Facebook message because you can see when someone's read it, and it's very conversational. You can be having a conversation and, in half an hour, you've got someone that's ready to start.
Awesome. Awesome. I will just touch on quickly. I'm going to jump into the ISA Derby because you guys have had some amazing success with the Derby. But I just wanted to quickly touch on, because you guys have been mentored by Brett and Sammy, who are incredible, and they're one of the fastest moving. Were they the quickest to millionaire in isogenics in Australia?
Yeah.
And to max out as well. They maxed out in 10 months, which is insane.
Maxed out their first business center in 10 months. So what's some of the key components that you guys would see that you've duplicated from Brett and Sammy? So I know they're just really good at using systems and duplication. Can you explain to everyone that? Obviously, you guys have brought in, you're out there taking the action and you're talking to people, and then it sounds like you're plugging them in and then you're using a system.
Yeah, I guess.
How well does the system work? Obviously, very well.
Well, at the end of the day, whatever you do duplicates. So if you're, everyone on here has the potential and is essentially a leader to anyone that they bring into it. So if you're bringing people in, but you're not actually in action yourself, then very quickly they're going to follow your lead. So, one of the things they've always said is that, you have to lead by doing and have other people follow you that way, rather than you be bringing people in and telling people what to do if you're not doing it yourself. So, one of the things, I guess, is being in action and making sure that we're doing the things, but it's about then duplicating that. So, find the key people that want it or say that they want it and get them to, I guess, start taking action. So whenever someone new comes in and they say they want to earn an income, then we'll get them to write a 10 names list, and then we'll work with them to
do the 90-day game plan.
Yeah, contact those first 10 people. And if they're committed, we say, all right, we'll print out a 90-day game plan and let's work through it together. So, you've got to realize that you have to become a leader in this industry to be successful, because at the end of the day, it's about creating leverage, and you can't do this all on your own. And if you're only relying on the income from your activity, then, you're always going to be working your butt off. But if you can create a team of people that are working towards the same thing, then you're going to be in a lot different situation. So
at the end of the day, Isogenics have given us absolutely everything we need to build a successful business. And it doesn't matter how much you think you know or how good you are at doing something, you have to use tools that are duplicable. And that means going to isogenicbusiness.com. That means the 90-day game plan. It means, when you have someone who wants to learn the business, the first thing they do is they sit down and do a 100 names list. We don't do anything other than what Isogenics has provided us with. The new associate call. Who's using new associate checklist? Because for us, that's our number one tool that we use to set someone up for success. You just don't need to do anything else. You don't need to invent anything, because Isogenics have a whole team of people that create everything we need for us. This is what I mean. It is such a simple industry.
But it's also that consistency where you're doing it, following a process with someone, and then they know that when they enroll someone that they follow that same process, or you help them, you do that first process with them so that they understand what they need to do moving forward as well.
And it's the same with the products. If you're living a healthy life and you're really a product of the product, then anyone that comes into your business, whether that be for the products or the business or whatever, they'll do the same thing. That's another thing that is very, very important for everyone to understand. You need to understand that there's 3 types of people in isogenics. There's product lovers, and they just love the product. So it could be I bring Matt into my business, I start Matt up, and he just loves the products. He has no intention of sharing it with anyone. He just wants to use them himself. That's called a product lover. You love product lovers because product lovers auto ship every month and we get paid on repeat customers. Then there's product sharers. Now, a product sharer would be like Matt loves the products, and if someone wants to know what he's doing, he'll share it with them, and he's happy to pick up a product introduction bonus if he shares it with someone, and that could be like $80 to $320. So then there's business builders. A business builder is us, it's Adrian. It's anyone who is intentionally wanting to earn an income using isogenics as the vehicle. And what a lot of people tend to do is they try and turn a product lover into a business builder, and they're trying to push this person to do something that they just don't want to do because that person just loves to use the products and they're not interested in the business. So this is one of the most important things that I ever learned, and it was by Jen Schultz, is that you have to meet people where they're at and don't try and turn a product lover into a business builder. You just have to love and nurture everyone where they are, but always inspire them to the next level.
Yeah, and I think that's the key point is a product lover can become a product sharer. You just have to show them the path and inspire them to do that, not push them, but inspire them. And a product sharer can become a business builder, again, through inspiring them to that next level. But a product lover going to a business builder, it just doesn't work, and someone might even come in, and this is, I guess, something we're even still learning now, is someone might come in and they might say, yes, I want to build a business. I'm really pumped. I'm going to smash this.
And they do nothing.
But they do nothing, and at the end of the day, everyone's a product lover until they prove otherwise. So a product lover, even someone that comes in and says, yeah, I really want to smash this business, they start with the products. They've got to love the products first. Then they've got to start sharing it and become a product sharer. And then only then, once they've become a product sharer and they've started to build a team, do they become a business builder, and not before. So you just want to take baby steps with people so that you don't send them into overwhelm, on their first week and have them, doing too much and then going into inaction. You want to drip feed them information and kind of just keep inspiring them to that next level.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And it's just so basic. And I think we overlook that sometimes, because we're excited for the person, and we do sometimes scare them away because we've always got to go back to, if they're, always just be one step ahead and just matching energy for energy. If they're giving you energy, then you match the energy. If they're not, then you just treat them as a product user.
Exactly.
And you can ask them for referrals, or, if they want to get their product paid for and they start sharing more, you just keep inspiring that way.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What I'd love to jump onto, guys, is, as I saed before, you guys have been lucky enough to win a couple of ISA derbies, which has been really, really cool. One of them that I was lucky enough to meet you on in Cambodia. For all those of you on the call that don't know what an ISA derby is, so ISA derby is a competition that Isogenics run where we put together teams, and we all work together as a team to inspire people to get started on the program and help the team build momentum and share the products and rank advance and whatnot. In the process, go into a competition where we can win a 5-star holiday, and the next one is to Borneo. So it's 5 stars, all inclusive. It's just next level. I've been to 40-something countries myself, and nothing compares to an ISA derby. They just go all out. They give you everything for 5 days, and they give you all the business training. You get to meet some really cool friends, and Borneo is going to be incredible. So they've just extended the enrolling for the teams, so there is still spots for anyone that's not in a team yet. But yeah, guys, I just want to touch on with you guys. So what was it like winning an ISA derby? Was that your first one, Cambodia?
Well, we won America first, but that was as individuals. So our team didn't win, but Matt and I had a call 5 days later to say that Isogenics were also taking the top 12 individuals. And because that was at our massive period of growth, we'd done so well as individuals, we won an all-expenses paid trip to San Diego. Epic. But Cambodia, honestly, ISA derbies, there's really not much you can say. They are incredible. Imagine going on a holiday where everything is taken care of, but every single day. I mean, Adrian, how are the surprises? We would get on tuk-tuks and not know where we were going, and we would end up in this incredible, what do you call it? Like a temple with like lights, candles, and then these big bands. Anyway, sounds nuts, but it was the best thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah. And I think the thing with ISA derbies is, you put a team together and you're there to motivate each other, and it's when we went on the first one and it was just us, we had an amazing time, but we wished our team had made it. Yeah. Whereas our second one, where we won Cambodia, our whole team went, and to see the faces of people experiencing that for the first time was priceless. So, and if how do you win an ISA derby? Well, you all have to be in action. You all have to be enrolling people. You all have to be rank advancing, and just working together as a team. So, we would have a call every week or every 2 weeks with our team and just sort of staying on top of motivation, and they'd have a leaderboard every week out, and we'd see where we were on the leaderboard and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, by being a part of a team and working towards a goal like that, you're building your business anyway. And that's the whole idea with ISA derbies is if you end up winning, the actual prize is great, but what you've actually done is build a really awesome business in the process. And I think that's the key takeaway as well.
Yeah. So in the process of going through this incredible holiday and being inspired and motivated, in the background, you are building an incredible residual income. You're building your freedom business, and it's all happening because you're inspired and you're in action. And maybe
and have fun doing it. This is meant to be fun at the end of the day.
Having fun, and I think that's been, for myself personally, that's been a massive driver in my business because I love traveling and holidays. And I just knew we were going to Cambodia, but somehow I just knew it was going to happen. And you just do the work, and in the background, your business does grow.
Yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
but if you do get to be on one, they really are out of this world. You talk about 5-star, but then it's 5-star to another level because they do stuff for you that normal people don't get to do. They just sort of go out of their way to blow your mind, and I'm sure Borneo will be no different to the ones before it, and they seem to keep trying to outdo the one before anyway. So, Borneo will be off the charts, I'm sure.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Thanks for those shares on ISA Derby. I got one last question for you guys, because at the start of the call, you guys mentioned that you went to a celebration, and I think as I know how awesome events are and how much they play a key role. What was celebration like to you, seeing an event? Obviously, you've just come into network marketing, you didn't know what it was like, and you went to an event, and obviously you've seen the bigger vision and what it's about, because we have SKO coming up in Melbourne. So, yeah, what do you guys see events? What do you see the value in it? Why is it important to get your teams along? Can you just speak a little bit about events? Because I know there's SKOs going up, and I'd really love to inspire the team to why it'd be important to make that and get their teams along.
Well, firstly, when we started, we were told to move heaven and earth to get to an event, and we did. We had no money at all. We had no money, but we knew that we wanted to make money, and we knew that we loved the products, and we were already sharing the products, because this is all about the products. Honestly, there are no words. Until you get to an event, then you have absolutely no idea what Isogenics is all about. It's just you and us on this Zoom, and that's about as big as it gets. You have to get to an event, because at the end of the day, this is an industry, and it's no different to any other industry. If you get a job at McDonald's, for example, you have to do training days. If you're going to intentionally work to earn an income in Isogenics, then you have to learn the skills. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So an event, incredible to see the bigger picture, but even more incredible to learn more about this industry and to build your belief in so many different areas.
Yeah, when you're new, if you're committed, then you'll find a way to get to the big events. There's only a few key events each year, and SKO is definitely one of them. So the idea is you go, but you don't want to go on your own as well, because it's no good. I spoke briefly about needing to be a leader and having a team and building your own team, it's no good you just going there on your own and being blown away and thinking, wow, this is so awesome.
And you will be blown away.
Yeah, and then not having anyone there with you, to share it with. So we went to our first celebration without anyone, and we realised, wow, not only did we realise how amazing Isogenics was and the company and everything else, but I guess what was possible, our eyes were open to what was possible, seeing just all the normal everyday people with such amazing, physical and financial results. So for us, events is all about getting people there because, we can't inspire anyone in the same way as an event can inspire someone. So, we can do our best and we might inspire them 20%, but by getting people to an event, they're going to be inspired 110%, and especially when you're new and you're still learning everything and you don't really know what to say to people, what you do, all you have to get good at is getting people to events, and you let the events do the talking for you and you let the events do the inspiring for you because that's what they're there for and that's what they do. So,
but we can't stress them enough. And I know, realistically, for a lot of people to get to them, it's hard because you've got families, you've got money troubles, you've got work commitments. But at the end of the day, you have to get there. And
there's got to be sacrifices.
There's got to be sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something. And, if you have to take your kids, take your kids. There's always mums at the back holding their babies and their kids. If you have to use 5 days of your annual leave, which you would rather take a holiday, use those 5 days and go to celebration or summer kickoff instead. Because, like I said before, if you're going to try and do this without getting to events, it's going to be a very, very, very hard road. So we can't stress getting there enough.
Yeah.
When you guys first started and you went to an event, how many team do you think, 2.5 years on, how many team do you think, if you went to celebration or in the last event, how many team did you have there?
Well, all of our personally enrolled who are building a business. It's like a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But in our downline, gosh, I don't
probably
know.
Hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds.
Probably hundreds.
Yeah.
So originally you went to the event and you went by yourself and you didn't know what it was and you've seen what this was and you've gone out and you've spoken to a lot of people and then you've brought the people to the events and now you have hundreds of people going to these events and getting trained. They're getting trained. You're not having to do the training now. They're going and they're bringing people to get trained. So,
yeah, because when you're new, you can't train. You really don't know what you're doing. Hence why they say failing forwards. So you're better off leaving it up to the experts. The people up on stage, successful, been there, they've been where you are and they train your people for you. It's leverage, like Matt said. It's all about leverage.
Yeah, and now it can't be now those people are going to keep going to the events even if you guys don't go to the events. They're still.
We would always go though. We'll never not go because, like we said, whatever you do duplicates. And if we don't go, we'll give them an excuse to not go. So we still go to everything.
But we understand that,
it's not easy.
By us going and committing to it in those early days and showing up and making sure that our team did the same, our income now is, we would have never had that if we didn't make that commitment early on, but now we can earn 8 to 10 grand a week regardless, and that's because of the time and effort that we've put in those first 6 to 12 months and the commitment that we made and getting people there, because at the end of the day, we can't do it all. And that's why events is just so important.
Yeah. And that leading up into SKO, we will wrap it up in a couple more minutes, but that leading into SKO, we do have exactly 4 weeks to the day that we're kicking off SKO, which is summer kickoff in Melbourne for those that don't know. As I said, it's in 4 weeks. It's in Melbourne. It's usually on the Gold Coast, so we've been lucky enough to have it down in Melbourne town. So everyone's going to be flying, someone's going to be flying down for us. What would you say to people, the guys on the call, for ramping up for SKO? Would you say get out, just massive action to bring as many people as you can along with you and don't come alone?
For sure. They say that every person you bring to an event gives at least $1,000, adds at least $1,000 to your business. So, at
the end of the day,
it's about how bad do you want it, really?
Focus on getting double PIBs for the next 2 weeks. And there's your ticket and your travel, break it down into things. And people say, well, I don't have the money. Well,
work for it.
Go and talk to more people and enroll 2 more people. Get double PIBs. There's $320. sweet, there's your ticket. Do it again next week, sweet, there's your travel. You know, like make a commitment that you're going to get there however rain, hail or shine, and just make it happen, because excuses will come up, you know, all the time, and you can either make an excuse or you can make it happen. You know, it's up to you.
We had a 2-week-old for the last, our baby's 6 months old now, but when she was born, celebration was 2 weeks later, and I still got to celebration with a 2-week-old baby. So if I can do that, then anyone can bloody well do it, because that was hard.
I remember seeing you guys at the bar. You weren't drinking, you were drinking the waters.
Yes.
You're about to pop. So we will wrap it up. I would just like to touch on just quickly before we go. So obviously you guys 2.5 years ago, and you, as you said, you were financially in financial strain, and for those of you that jumped on late, Maddie was at a CrossFit box, and he was working as a PT, and Karina worked in real estate. She was under the pump and being made to work way too many hours. What does life look like for you guys now? What does your days look like? And yeah, what's the difference? And, you know, just to inspire everyone what they can create for themselves, I guess.
Well, you know, we still work very hard at our business. We still help people and we still enroll people. But the difference is we do everything now on our own terms, and we choose our own hours. Whereas before we were limited to, Matt was self-employed, so he had to do absolutely everything, because if he didn't do it, no one would do it. Whereas me, and it's funny because the other day we were walking along the beach, and it was, I think it was a Friday morning, and Matt and I just had a moment, because every Friday we used to meet for lunch on my lunch break, and we'd spend an hour in the sunshine before I had to go back to work, and that was all we had to enjoy, the sun. And now, you know, we can go out for hours during the day. It doesn't matter, because we can come home and work in the afternoon or at night time. Like, this is work for us. So we still work hard and we earn an incredible income, but we just get to choose when we do it.
I think it's all about choice, you know.
Freedom.
You can choose how you spend your days, and you can choose, you know, to go on holidays when you want and not have to ask permission, and all those things that we're so conditioned in everyday life and in normal jobs, of especially things like service industries and retail and stuff like that, where you can never take time off at Christmas time or over those holidays, and all those things that people go through, you know, in normal, I guess, 9 to 5 type jobs. All of that is off the table then, you know. So it's just having choice and that freedom. And like Karina said, we still work hard, but wow, you know, our life is completely different to what it used to be. And
we don't struggle financially anymore, which is the biggest thing. You know, we've paid off our debts. We paid for our own wedding, our entire wedding, our honeymoon. We've bought a house. We're raising a baby, and we don't have to, you know, cry when the bills come in anymore. And that's probably the single biggest thing. Yeah, is not to have that financial strain anymore.
Awesome. Well, I might just open it up just quickly to see if anyone's got any questions while we've got you. Has anyone got anything they want to ask this inspiring couple all the way from the Gold Coast while we've got them on the call? If you've got a question, just throw your hand up and don't be shy. Just mute out. Kelly, Matty.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I just wanted to ask, so obviously everybody's got this network of people that they're comfortable speaking to and that, but I wanted to know, how did you guys go about finding new people that you don't necessarily know or have a relationship with before you started, but then once you're sharing, you want to sort of broaden your network? So how did you go about finding those new people?
Very good question. Matt? It's a daily thing for us. It really is, because we've exhausted our warm network long ago.
But I guess, you know, if you go through your Facebook list, there's plenty of people, there's probably hundreds of people on there that you might not necessarily speak to anymore, but you're still friends with on Facebook. So one of the key things is making contact with people again. You don't have to send a message saying, hey, how you doing? Do you want to do Isogenics? You know, what you do is you go onto their Facebook profile and you look over what they've been posting and what's happening in their life, and then you start a conversation like you would if you bumped into them in the street. You know, you say, hey, it's been ages, you know, how's your life? I see you've got some kids, or you've been on holidays, or, you know, build that rapport and conversation up again, because too often people think, well, I've spoken to my mum and my dad and my sister and my neighbour, you know, who else can I speak to? And yet they've got 300 or 500 friends on Facebook, you know. So I think one of the key things is having the courage to make contact with people and have conversations. You know, it doesn't have to be bringing up Isagenix in the first conversation, but what it does have to be is, you know, is making contact and stepping outside your comfort zone and making an effort. But then there's new networks, and there's, you know, people at the gym and new sporting groups. And
I started a meetup on meetup.com. Has anyone heard of meetup.com?
Is that like Tinder?
What's that? No.
Yeah, I've never heard of.
Don't tell Matt. Meetup.com. It does sound like a dating site, but it's not. You can start meetup groups for any particular reason at all. So I started a mums group. It's called the Reedy Creek Mums Group. We live in Reedy Creek. And, you know, I have gone through my warm network, and now we have to intentionally prospect on purpose and meet new friends. So meetup.com, you can create a book club. You can create like a cycling group or a hiking group or anything. The intention is just to make new friends and meet new people. So every single person that I become friends with, whether it's the person that serves me coffee at the cafe or one of the mums at my meetup group, I friend request them on Facebook. And just a small example of that is I had my first mums meetup the other day, and only 2 people turned up, so it was okay. But I made 2 new friends, and I friend requested both of them on Facebook, and one of them already wants to talk to me about Isagenix, and she wouldn't do that if I didn't post on social media. So I post transformations. Basically, I didn't even speak to her about Isagenix because I'm just trying to build that rapport and become friends. But she's seen my Facebook profile, and we're meeting tomorrow to go for a walk and talk about Isagenix.
And her mum want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just have to, everywhere you go, it's called network marketing. You just have to network, but not with the intention of, like Matt said, saying, hey, do you want to do Isagenix? These relationships build over time, but you just have to remember that the more people you talk to, the more people will join you. If you're not having the conversations, then no one's going to know what you do and no one's going to join you.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes at events, some of the high income earners have been asked how many conversations have they actually had, and it's literally in the thousands, you know, over a matter of years and however long it's been. So I guess one of the things I'd say is if you get to 10 and you've got 10 no's, and then you go, well, I'm not even going to bother with the 11th, then you haven't really done this how it's meant to be done. You know, they say, imagine there was 1,000 rocks in your backyard, and under one of them was $1 million. You know, if you knew that was the case, you wouldn't stop until you went through. You turned over 1,000 rocks. But if you get to 5 and go, oh, it's not here, or you give up, then you're never going to find that $1 million. And you know, it's just an analogy of you've got to be having lots of conversations, and you've got to get good at asking questions and building rapport and doing the things that a professional network marketer does. You learn all of this
at events as well. Another reason to get to events.
But you just got to do it. You've got to be out there, and yeah, it's possible for anyone.
Awesome. So easy. All right, might just wrap it up. Thank you for sharing your story tonight and all your amazing tips and tricks, and congratulations on all the amazing successes so far. You guys will be down in Melbourne for SKO?
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Will. Right, so everyone on the call, so if you're all coming to SKO, we'll be able to introduce you to Maddie and Karina, and you can meet them in person.
It'd be lovely to meet everyone.
Yeah, so has anyone got any questions before we wrap up the call for tonight?
Yeah, I've probably got 1,000 questions, but
sorry, guys. I want your cat.
Just one more practical one. You mentioned that like the top income earners have thousands of conversations and probably have a lot going all at once. Did you guys have any techniques that you use to make sure that you manage each conversation and you're still giving that authentic sort of time and energy to each person that they deserve?
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't think do it all at once personally. Oh yeah, Matt's pointing to our whiteboard. But you know, if you're going to be having conversations, do like 2 or 3 a day. rather than doing 30 in one day, because then if you have 10 people write back, you can't give them all of you. Whereas if you're having 3 conversations a day and 2 people write back, you can actually have genuine, caring conversations with those 2 people. That's my tip.
Well, mine would be is, you know, when we first started, we didn't have an office, so our lounge or dining area was our workspace. So we worked off the dining room table, and our whole wall all the way around was whiteboards. So we'd have whiteboards for our warm list. So people that maybe had shown a bit of interest or had asked for information, so we'd put them on their warm list. We'd have our hot list for people who had said, yep, I'm really keen, I'm just saving money or I'm doing whatever, you know, we'd put them on our hot list. So we'd always have our warm and hot list in front of us, and we'd see it 10 times a day.
I still have mine.
And we've still got it. Yeah, mine's straight in front of me here. So having a warm list and a hot list is super important, I think, to keep it front of mind, and don't think that you'll just remember to get in contact with them again, because, you know, things get in the way. But I find then, you know, that if we've got stuff on whiteboards, then it really helps us.
And keeping a diary as well, whether that be an electronic diary. Matt and I both use paper diaries because we're old school. But, you know, like Matt said, don't rely on your memory, because you won't remember when you're having 10 conversations on the go. So if you say that you're going to touch base with someone on Friday, put it in your diary so you don't forget, because you have to be professional as well. And when you say you're going to do something, you do it. But whiteboard, definitely. You've got to have a hot list and you've got to have a warm list.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much again for taking the time and jumping on, especially with the little one. Is she off to sleep, is she?
Oh, yeah. I've got the monitor. She's like fast asleep.
Yeah, perfect. Hopefully she stays
that way.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll wrap it up, guys. I just want to thank you again for jumping on, taking the time, and we'll see you down in SKO in Melbourne in about a month's time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Lovely to meet everybody.
No worries. Thanks again.
Best with your business.
Awesome. And I think for the guys that are in derby teams, if you guys want to stay on the call, we're just going to do a derby call with some tasks and challenges for the week. Everyone else. Alex, how you doing, mate? Who else we got on there? We've got a couple of other guys. I'd like to meet you all, actually, while you're there. What we got? Alex, you end up tuning in all right, Alex? It was all good?
Yeah, got it sorted. Thanks, mate.
Got it all sorted? No worries. So hopefully I'll stop the